Hey, we're coming back to you from the European SharePoint Office 365 and Azure Conference. It's ESPC 19, coming to you from Prague. And I'm here with Ragnar. How's it going?
Hey, thanks Christian for having me here. It's a pleasure.
How's the event been for you so far?
Oh, pretty busy actually. Wonderful people here, great community. I love it. The city couldn't be more beautiful. So if you look outside the window, we can see beautiful Prague. And I'm very excited to be here.
Well, excellent. Well, why don't you introduce yourself? Yeah, who you are, your role, kind of your background in the community.
Exactly, yeah. So, I'm Ragnar Heil. I'm currently working at Quest as a partner channel manager and responsible for the countries Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Benelux, Netherlands. In the past, I worked at Microsoft. I think I had 11 years history of Microsoft in several roles. And then I left Quest, moved to Metalogics, who were acquired by Quest. So we also have a shared history.
Yeah, I know, but instantly became an MVP. That is the fastest awarding of an MVP after leaving Microsoft that I've ever come across.
But don't forget this second between when I left Microsoft and I joined 1 second later, only later at Metalogics. Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
And the reason why I was awarded as an MVP is because even if when I was working at Microsoft as a full-time employee, I had a really large passion for the community.
Right.
So I was organizing meetups, I was speaking and hosting. So my heart was beating, or is still beating, for the community. Also in my
it made completely
previous life.
sense. I'm just poking fun at around it, but it's and I know it's not the topic that we're gonna discuss here, but I get that question a lot. Is people ask, well, what's the process to become an MVP? And I guess there is no one answer for the process around that. It's really it's an award looking at what that person has delivered in that the years previous to the community, and you did a ton for the community that was far above and beyond what your role was at Microsoft, so it wasn't really surprising from that standpoint. But
and I'm still very, very grateful that Microsoft gave me this kind of freedom in my role shaping process, that I could spend so much time in traveling around and really connecting the dots here in the community and talk about the exciting things what we have.
Well, I want to talk about your movement around and what's happening within your part of the world, and with some of the evolution of the technology. I mean, so we both come from the SharePoint space, and of course Yammer, the social collaboration side of things as well. You've been for most of your time inside Microsoft. You were one of the more vocal people around the social collaboration technology. So kind of how is it evolving and changing within the region?
Well, I have a big heart beating for Yammer, and so I'm very excited also to see the big announcements, #Year of Yammer, and we are currently planning a few events around Yammer. So I have very concrete plans around a Yammer event in February in Germany, where we definitely want to share all the news and delivering the Ignite highlights around Yammer. But we also want to make sure to get better customer stories local from our regions. So not only that we share the technical news and updates, but really want to make sure that customers understand the value and transform the features and new capabilities into their own business value. So I'm very interested to see more customer stories. I'm also a Yammer blogger, and I also want to capture this kind of stories in my Yammer blog, which I'm committed to write 3 or 4 times a year.
You can share the blog. You could how do people find out
this
about
is that? On the one hand, there is the official one, techcommunity.microsoft.com, and I'm also blogging about Microsoft 365 at ragnarheil.de, and I've got another one about headsets, so about my official Microsoft blog, my first name, last name.de.
So talking about some of the the evolution in the community, and especially this part of the region that you serve. So an observation coming from the U.S. So you have, of course, for the last decade, the SharePoint Saturday, events which are still going on around the world, but it's really been expanding and growing in Europe and Asia, where it has been, constricting in some areas, not all. There's still, I think of Twin Cities, Minneapolis area is still going strong. There's still 400, 500 people that show up twice a year to that event. And other regions where it's doing, but it's booming still over here. So what's the difference?
It's a very difficult question because on the one hand I see events like which are booming. Like we had Champions at Munich going on last week. I think we had like 350 people in Munich. Big event, with great speakers, Dan Holm and so on were on stage. There were other events in Central Europe which were not so well visited, where we only had 80, which was a little bit disappointed. What is the difference? It's very difficult to talk about all the differences, what went wrong here and what went well here. As a sponsor, we are at Quest, we are sponsoring this kind of events. Sometimes we see a different kind of mindset that in some countries people don't want to talk to sponsors and to vendors. And in other countries they're super open, and our booth is very highly frequented and we get a lot of visitors. So sometimes I see that people are more open or less open to really have conversations and chats, because that's what we want. We just want open conversations. On the other hand, we are currently trying to increase the level, or we want to reduce the amount of no-show rates, because in the past everybody was suffering on a high amount of no-show rates, like 50%. That's something what we want to reduce by creating no-show fees. Let's say 100 euros for a no-show fee, which we are going to spend in charity or something else. And we also want to offer more value. And currently we are brainstorming, so that's completely under NDA. We are currently brainstorming with Chaperon Saturday, Northern Germany, to add an additional day, like a Friday in advance, to offer a very deep dive technical workshop.
Yep.
Where
we're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, where we're not preaching like where we're not preaching, and we are having a very interactive session, especially with coding and so on,
right,
where we want to have people taking out their laptops and really go into coding. So that's what we want to offer on a Friday, and also charge for this special workshop because there's high value. And we also want to bring more customers on the table, because currently what we're seeing is we have too many MEPs which are always talking about the same kind of topics, and I want to see fresh faces, new blood, also customers on stage.
Well, that's
that's something which I'm really want to
That's
change.
actually a great topic for a lot of people that I know that are watching the live stream or the recording of this, that say, hey, I'd love to be able to get more involved and become a speaker, become an MVP, but get more involved with the community and how to do that. And then so certainly every SharePoint Saturday, even this event, there is a public call for speakers for ESPC every year. And anyone that has experience, that wants to be able to share that experience and share kind of what they did, has an opportunity to submit and that content. And so a larger event like this, it might be a little more difficult to get in. You have to have some speaking experience. But you have like the SharePoint Saturday movement where anybody can be involved. I know that for us locally, we actually give preference to local and new people over others.
Really? Okay.
We try to have a blend, but
that's very important.
But if we wanted to just have just big name speakers that we know are excellent speakers with that content, we could do nothing more but fill that up. But there's not much community in that global community for sure. But you're also trying to build.
Very good point. Exactly.
But you're trying to build the local community.
Exactly.
And you have to identify those new people. And which is, as an organizer, as you know, it's not that easy. People don't seem to submit for those those kinds of events.
And that's a very perfect point, because here I'm very interested to increase the community work, and I'm working closely with all the organizers in every single part of Germany to move an existing SharePoint user group, a SharePoint meetup group into a Microsoft 365 group, which is not only talking about Office 365, but also talking about the security and compliance topics. Right. So actually, I would like to have the whole M365 E5 stack part of these user groups. But sometimes it's a little bit challenging, because we still have people who are employed as an Exchange specialist or as a SharePoint specialist, and they're not interested in Azure AD, security and compliance, because they're focused on Exchange. So here, our challenge is to bring everybody in the room and to say, listen, even if you're still working on Exchange topics, this could be a topic we can grow into, because we want to show horizon, we want to show a future, because it can be that that job is going to be redundant in 1 year, and then they see a future in AD, security and compliance.
Well,
So
a great
it's-
example of that is if you own Teams.
Yeah.
Teams, the workloads that power Teams. There's SharePoint, there's Exchange workloads, there's all the Teams activities itself. There's all the Skype, the meetings, the rooms, the broadcast capability. I mean, all of those pieces. Those used to be at least 3 different roles managing those things, and so now it's consolidated. So we're finding the same thing where we're saying, look, we want to be more. Solution-centric in the content that we're providing. There are deep dives into one technical topic, but we're finding that people want to have that more comprehensive view over subject matter, and it's hard to jam pack that into a day. How do you?
What we usually do is we create a kind of theme and topic. Let's say the topic is M365 compliance, and then we have a speaker slot, 45 minutes around the compliance in Teams. Next speaker slot is 45 minutes the compliance in SharePoint, and the other one is compliance in around Azure AD. And then we have 3 different speaker slots, and then we have another 1.5 hour for networking and drinks and food. So catering is always very important. So we make sure that nobody has to leave the room hungry. And that's usually like a 4 hour evening. High quality content, great networking, lots of space and room for questions. Every questions should be heard and should be there. So and this is something when people are ready and willing to invest these 4 hours in their spare time, they get a lot of value back.
Right.
It's just we need more people who are who say, okay, this is what I want to learn, and I'm investing my evening.
Well, you need to. Yeah, I think this is. I provide this guidance. When I was an employee at the last couple big companies, where like you own your career, you're responsible for your education, your path forward. And here there are resources that are available out there. There's a lot of great opportunities out there for the community to go and leverage. But you, as an individual, need to step up and say, "This is what I want. Here's the path. This is what I'm interested in. Go and explore." Go to those different sessions. Ask questions.
I had a conversation yesterday, which came. Okay, I'm expecting from my manager that my manager is going to create a training path for me. I said, oh well, I thought that these days are actually over because there's so much opportunity now and also free content on the market. That is not a managerial thing to organize a technical training path into Microsoft 365. Because this is something what I call self-organized learning, and this is the best way how I'm learning is always this blended mix of of social media learning. I learn a lot in blogs, in Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook. I learn a lot there, but also on conferences, commercial ones and also free ones. So I'm a big believer in this self-organized, hybrid, blended, on-site, off-site, online, offline learning.
Well, the reality is that nobody learns through one channel, one method. You need a variety of different kinds of inputs. Sometimes in person, small group. Sometimes the classroom, lecture style. Sometimes where it's at your own pace, reading, watching videos, that thing. So there needs to be a combination of those types of things. Which is another another reason that there might some people that say, hey, I'd love to share my expertise, but I'm really nervous speaking up in public. I don't have that background. I'm not interested in that.
But
there
the
are many different ways that they can add their value in.
And what I've currently seen is also our community. What we all love is a perfect place to grow. So it can be that you are afraid of public speaking in front of 5,000 or in front of 500 people, and but there are events where you maybe have only 25 people in the room, and then you can really learn. These are rooms for practicing. These are, how do you call it? These are rooms. How do you call it in English? Rooms which are safe places.
Yeah, the safe places.
20, right. Yeah, the places. 20 people in the room, very willing, very nice people, and then you can learn, and then maybe you had 10 presentations, and then you can go into a larger one where you have 500 people in the room.
Well, I think that's a great place to kind of leave off. Is that it's an iterative process as we learn to become
exactly. We fail
good presenters.
and
Right.
we
Don't be afraid of that. Share your experiences. Share
Exactly.
your hashtag truth. Share your truth.
Exactly. And the most important thing is don't be afraid. We all had horrible presentations. We all did workshops which failed. So don't be afraid. Everybody failed somewhere. But the most important thing is go your way. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. And join the community. They are supportive and they will help you. And they will also help you grow.
You don't strengthen a muscle without tearing it down once in a while. So it's like fail, you learn from those from the mistakes, and then you get better at it. So, but you've got to get out there and try. So that's the key thing. So join the community, come in, sign up. Throw your hat in the ring to come and present, to share, to just contact your local user group. Submit an abstract to a SharePoint Saturday event, or to if you've got something you've gone through that process, you've presented it a couple times, you've refined it, submit it to next year's ESPC event.
Exactly. And one thing which is very important, if you observe yourself that you don't have time to join a community, just think what is currently missing. Maybe the topics are too technical. Maybe the topics are more for developers. Maybe you want to talk more about business topics. Then just add your own content. Maybe you create your own user group where you invite your customers and your business people. So in case something is missing, just let us know and try to start something new. Even if it's a small group, even you start with 10 people. Yep. But there are so many niches and so many gaps where we want to address and target new audiences, that if you need new voices in here, again, don't be afraid, don't be shy, just go and start
I
a new movement.
found my favorite presentations have been when there's 5 to 10 people, where it's more of a conversation, and I've been able to to ask questions and then get long responses back and kind of dig into the details of that. That's helped me refine my material. So the next time I go where it's more of me standing in front of 100 people giving that presentation, I'm able to give a more balanced presentation, knowing those detailed questions, those experiences.
Very good point. I had the conversation on the plane with Hans Brender, also known as Mr. OneDrive. He said when he has got a very important keynote or a larger room, where you have like 1,000 in the room, he always picks the presentation he already gave and delivered a few times. He would never go into a very large room and do it for the very first time. So he really wanted to be very routinized, very routine. And because it doesn't make sense to go into such a large room and do it for I'm just talking about you, Hans. So
and there he is. He's up next.
And that's the reason why these presentations, they look so professional and so entertaining and so on. And Hans got very good feedback also from Microsoft management, because he's not doing this mistake and go into a large room and do a presentation for the first time without rehearsals.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
So thanks for the learning, Hans. I appreciate it.
Hans is up next here. So, well, anyway, well, Ragnar, really appreciate your time. And people want to get in contact with you. How do they find you through social? What's the best way to reach you?
Just add my name to Google, Ragnar Heil. I'm on Twitter, Ragnar H. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. Read my blog and so on. I'm
easy to find.
I'm everywhere.
He's tall. He's easy to see in the crowd as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, well, thanks a lot for your time today.
Thanks so much, Christian. Thank you.